Hi, friends. In this episode, I'm speaking with Rose Alkamisi. Rose is a visionary personal branding and LinkedIn strategist. Rose shares her journey from a career coach to becoming a guru in personal branding, talking to us about the important role of how personal branding can help professionals across all career stages. Securing a big salary should be as easy as asking for more, right? Turns out it's a little bit more than that. First, let me ask you, which of these apply to you? Reading org announcements with envy as other people get promoted? Working long hours with little to show for it? Getting more degrees hoping to be seen? Don't feel bad. I made the same mistake myself without even realizing it. And it's not your fault. In this podcast, I'm going to help you master the strategy and techniques on how to get promoted, how to double your paycheck, and how to secure more flexibility without adding more work or more degrees.
You are listening to Salary Negotiations Made Simple, the show that builds your confidence and inspires you to negotiate for the career you deserve. Do you want to double your salary, secure an ideal career, and increase your confidence to powerfully negotiate every career move? Then you are in exactly the right place.
Hello, Rose. Thank you for coming to the studio today. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. So excited to talk to you.
Fantastic. Would you get us started with a little bit of an introduction, what you do and how do you help?
Okay, so my name is Rose Alkamisi. My brand name is Your Brand AlKamist. So it's a play on my last name, but it's also like the alchemy of your personal brand. And I'm a personal branding strategist and LinkedIn strategist. So I use LinkedIn to help professionals with their personal brand. So it could be anyone who is either they're in their career or an executive or an entrepreneur or a solopreneur. Like personal branding affects everybody. Everybody needs to care about personal branding no matter what your background is. So whether you're a mid-level professional, whether you're an executive, a CEO, or a solopreneur, freelancer, or you run your own company, whatever the case is, personal branding matters. And we're going to talk about that today. So I'm really excited.
Yeah, let's start there. It's a great segue. How does personal branding help, let's say, a job seeker?
Wow. Okay. So that's why LinkedIn is such a great platform for job seekers specifically. So I used to actually be a career coach before I transitioned into personal branding. And so this is a question that I got asked a lot. And that's why I ended up switching to personal branding, because I saw the potential and the need for it, because a lot of people miss the opportunity by not having a strong personal brand. So if you want to have a career, if you're just starting off, or if you're midway and you want to go that extra level, the next level of your career, you need to hone and own your personal brand. And how you do that is by being really intentional with your messaging. Okay. So, what type of content do you post or create on LinkedIn, right? And this can help you stay top of mind. It can help you stay top of mind by showing what you actually know. So don't tell me, show me, right? That's number one. And then also networking. When you reach out to people and you're constantly adding value to them on a regular basis, they're more likely to think of you when a job opening occurs, right? Because you are top of mind, right? And so it's about building trust. And trust takes time, but they can't trust you if they don't know who you are. So you showcase who you are through your personal brand. And that's why people seek out the help of a personal branding strategist, because they don't know where to start. It can be overwhelming, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is such a good point, right? So we hear about a lot of layoffs and a lot of unfortunate situations where people are having to look for a job where maybe they were planning a long-term trajectory with that particular company. But if someone has a personal brand and they've built the trust over many, many years on LinkedIn, it would seem that their getting back up and hitting the ground running would be a little bit more easier. Would you say that?
I couldn't agree more. And we can even see that what happened in 2020. A lot, you've heard of the Great Resignation, right? So a lot of people ended up actually quitting their job. So some of them got laid off, but some of them quit intentionally because they realized they can actually tap into their personal brand and leverage it to their advantage through solopreneurship or through seeking a better opportunity, right, in a different company. So we actually saw that a lot of the people that I follow now on LinkedIn, like some of the biggest influencers on LinkedIn, quit their jobs and started to focus on their personal branding on LinkedIn. And, within a year, they grew to like over 100,000, some of them, 100,000 followers. And they have social proof now. That's called social proof. They can use the leverage, the social proof that they've created on LinkedIn to ask for a higher salary, to get clients and, increase their revenue, right? So there's so many ways to monetize your personal brand. And this is something that I help my clients with, is like, how do you start to clarify your personal brand, first of all, and then how do you start to leverage it so that you can monetize it?
Yeah. Yeah. And to be very clear, we're not saying everybody wants to be an influencer or should want to be an influencer. We're saying it opens up the options for you, whatever it is that you want to do with the next phase of your life.
Absolutely. Who am I going to go with? Somebody that I've never heard of before, or somebody who's like known for what they do, is a thought leader in their field, constantly puts out value, constantly puts out content, constantly reaches out to people. That's the person I'm going to go. That's my go-to person. And it's going to give me an incentive to want to hire them.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm in the process of hiring my first employee, right? I'm a solopreneur up to this point. And the people that stood out to me the most are the people who have a strong personal brand on LinkedIn. And the beauty of LinkedIn is it doesn't matter where you come from. You could be from anywhere in the world, from Pakistan, from India, from the Philippines, wherever you come from. You can leverage your personal brand to create opportunities for yourself, even when you don't have opportunities where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I was in the airport a few months ago and there was a conversation that was happening behind me. And it was like, oh, hey, you're the sterilization guru, right? So this guy posts about sterilization on LinkedIn. And presumably these two people, like from what I could hear on the snippet, they didn't know each other, but they knew each other through LinkedIn. And he's built himself a sterilization guru personal brand. So you never know what opportunity will knock on your door. Just speak about what you want to speak about.
And I would say this in the beginning, when you don't have a strong personal brand, say yes to everything. Agree to do the things that are hard to do or that are new for you so that you can challenge yourself, you can experiment, and then you can figure out what's for you and what's not for you. Yeah. The only way to do that is through experience, through experimentation. And that's something I encourage young people to do, or mid-level careers to do. And also is something I've done myself, right? Because you might not know what your personal brand is or what you want to do. But through experience, through networking, through trying different things, through saying yes to different opportunities, and sometimes the most unexpected opportunities come your way, right?
Yeah.
Things that you've never even thought of before. But just because you're out there all the time showcasing your talent, opportunities come to you like a magnet, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very true. What if somebody is wanting to take the first steps? What we say is LinkedIn is not a resume holder, right? Is that statement true or false? And what is the next step from there?
So this is how I see LinkedIn. LinkedIn is three things. If you really want to break it down, LinkedIn is three things. One is it's a networking site. That's number one. Number two, it's a job search. You get connected to different career opportunities. And number three, it's an educational platform. Okay. And this is something that's why we have LinkedIn Learning, for example. So these three things, so you have to be doing one of these three things or all of these three things, even better, to leverage the platform in the right way, right? So it's not, if you just use LinkedIn as a resume, online resume, you are not tapping into the full potential of the platform. There's so much potential. And what I love about LinkedIn the most is that everybody on LinkedIn is primed for opportunity, is primed for networking, is primed for learning, because that's like, it's a group of professionals. Like the target audience of LinkedIn is for professionals. So you have to tap into that if you full potential of it.
Yeah, it's a very, in sales we call it warm leads, right? It's warm leads. Whoever is listening to you is already warmed up or primed to receive your message.
Absolutely. And I always tell people this, don't pitch slap. I mean, don't go in right away with a sales message. That is such a big turnoff. And that's a huge mistake that I see a lot of people are making. Like sending in-mail, salesy messages. You have to at least have 5 to 10, I would say, interactions with the person outside of that before you could even think about saying, hey, let's get together for a discovery call, because networking is all about building relationships with people. Relationships are number one. That's why I said the first and foremost, LinkedIn is a networking site, right? Through networking can open up so many avenues for you. Avenues you never even thought possible, right? Mm-hmm. Like for me, like I've gotten opportunities that I didn't even think were in the realm of, what I'm doing, right? But I said yes to them because I want to build that relationship with people. And because of LinkedIn, I got collaborators that I learned so much from. And here I am now on your podcast as well. That wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for LinkedIn. So it's a beautiful thing. And I look at my LinkedIn as a global village. I have people from all over the world, and you can learn from everybody. No matter their stage in life, no matter where they come from, you can learn from everybody. And everybody, sometimes you have to barter. Here's something I can help you with. This is something you can help me with. This is something we can both benefit from, this relationship that we have, right?
Yeah. It's incredibly empowering too, right? Because then now you're reaching out to somebody who has, say, 100,000 followers and they're a big name in LinkedIn, or maybe 1 million followers, and you only have 500 connections. And that's okay, because you are bringing something to the table, which is your expertise and that relationship. Like people are craving that connection. And like you said, the networking.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I just had my last audio. So I hold the audio event series on LinkedIn that has become very popular. But when I first started, that was like 7 months ago that I started doing audio events, before people even knew what audio events were. They were not that popular. I didn't know how to use it initially. I didn't even know how to get my guests on the stage with me. But I went from 15 attendees initially to my very first audio event, to my last audio event is 1,111 attendees, right?
Wow.
And I got one of the biggest creators, Jasmine Alec, to come on my audio events. And he was happy to do so because I built that relationship with him over time. Mm-hmm. And he trusted me, right? He trusted me with his personal brand, right? And this is something that, again, people trust you with their personal brand when they know who you are and what you can offer, right? So I ask really good questions. I come prepared. I build relationships with people. They trust me enough to want to come on and interview with me, because they don't have to do that, but they trust me, so they do that.
Yeah. And you build that trust. Like you said, you can't just go to Yasmin and say, hey, will you be on you will comment on his post, you'll engage with what he's saying, you'll do all these things to get to that level of trust.
Yeah, it took many months of commenting and building relationships and stuff like that. So it's also like showing who you are. People trust you because I'm always showing up on the platform, creating content, creating value, helping people, being kind. And kindness is so underrated, but like this is the foundation upon which all relationships are built, right? It has to be like a level of kindness and trust between people.
Yeah, and I 100% agree about the kindness. That's what drew me to you, right?
Oh,
Because when you were in these audio events, you're very open and generous. You have this abundance mindset. You're not thinking, what's in it for Rose? You're just coming in as a service or like in this attitude of service.
thank you so much. Yeah, I actually like the very first audio event series that I did was with a group of women, and we pretty much talked about everything from mental health to women's issues to careers. And then I decided to pause that for a while, and then I came back with a new series, a content creation series, which focuses on personal branding, marketing, content, right? And yeah, it's something that I feel really passionate about is adding value. Building relationship building is very important to me. And I really value the colleagues that I've made on LinkedIn. It's been such an enriching experience.
So if someone who's listening and they're convinced that LinkedIn is the platform where I can build my credibility, my reputation, what are like the top 2 or 3 things they can go do immediately?
Wow. Okay. So the very first thing is like, first, you have to clarify what is your personal brand. Okay. And this is the first step that I do with, my clients, because a lot of them, have a vague idea, but don't really know the details. Right. So that's what we work on. And then with LinkedIn specifically, you have to optimize your profile. And I know you've heard about this before, like many times. A lot of people say this, but it's so true. So when I say optimize, what does that mean? It means like you have a consistency and cohesiveness of messaging on your profile, okay? From top to bottom. So from beginning with the banner, and then your picture and your headline, and then going down to your feature section. So the feature section, you can highlight accomplishments or have a call to action. And then on the about section, you can discuss whether it's like you're using LinkedIn as a landing page. You're going to have a different approach than if you're using LinkedIn to find a job, right? So that's what we have to determine is, are you using LinkedIn as a landing page? Then we approach it a different way. And if you're using LinkedIn to find a job, then we approach it a different way. But basically the about section, which is about how you can serve others, right? That I think that's the gist of it, but obviously there's more nuance to it. But it's like, why should I consider you? Whether it's for networking, collaboration, or career, like why should I consider it? Convince me through the about section. And then, obviously, showing up every day, creating content. No, like like I said, I'm in the process of hiring my first employee. And one of the things that I realized is it doesn't matter what people say, it's like what they can do. So I gave them like a assignment to complete so that I can compare different people and see who's the best fit. And it wasn't who I expected. It wasn't the person who had the most degrees. It wasn't the person who, it's about eagerness, like someone who's the most eager and most willing to learn and grow and most willing to cooperate and most willing to show their passion for what they're doing, right? And so this was like a very eye-opening experience for me I'm glad I did that, because show me what you can do, don't just tell me. And that's what LinkedIn is all about. It's about, okay, showing people what you can actually do for them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So let's drill down just a little bit on that. So say we have a lot of my listeners are people in higher ed or teachers that are trying to transition to corporate. So if there is somebody like that, should they be putting on their LinkedIn the stuff that they did in higher education, all of the stuff that was the past? Or should they be focused on what they want to do? Like, how do they marry when there is a difference in experience versus aspiration?
Good question. So this is something that I personally have experience with because I have made the transition from teacher. Actually, I taught for 10 years. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I want to emphasize is transferable skills. Okay. You're never coming into a new career on a blank slate, right? You're always taking something with you from the previous job or career to your new career. So what I would suggest is, what are some of the overlaps that you see from the past career and your current career trajectory? And how can you emphasize why you're the best fit in terms of taking the transferable skills and transferring it to a new career path, right? So highlighting that, emphasizing that, saying, for example, like as a teacher, I was a strong communicator. And as I transitioned to a podcaster, obviously podcasting is all about communication. And as I am mentoring people with about their personal brand, teaching is mentoring. I've spent years mentoring students, right? So you are taking those skills and applying it to a new career path.
That's wonderful. That's absolutely spot on. Teachers have a multitude of transferable skills. We just need to translate them into what makes sense for the next role or the next industry.
100%. Yeah. Like people skills, right? People skills, leadership skills. As a teacher, you're a leader as well, right?
Yeah.
You lead the classroom, you lead your students, you have a vision for the kind of teacher you want to be. And it's about building relationships. It's about building trust. It's about being there for people, practicing kindness, being creative. So many things to pull from, right?
Yeah. Problem solving, right? AI can do a lot of things, but it can't solve problems that it's never encountered before. That's a human job. And teachers are absolutely primed for that.
100%. Yeah. And it's about classroom management.
Mm-hmm.
So I draw from those experiences into my new career.
Yeah, fantastic. Tell us a little bit, Rose, before we close, about commenting. Posting might be a little bit daunting. What about commenting? Can people start getting their personal brand up and about simply by commenting the people they love, commenting on the posts of people they love?
Yes, if you are unable to be consistent in terms of content creation, what I suggest is on the off days where you don't have time to create content, still show up in the platform and comment. And when you comment, I caution you to try to add value. Don't just say, oh, this is great. That's not really adding value to, like, think of it like a conversation. We're having a conversation and somebody said something and you're adding to that conversation, whether you're adding a agreement and adding some examples, or you're adding a contradictory position, right? Whatever the case may be, you're also showing up and showing off your expertise, your thought leadership through the commentary, right? And then not just commenting on that person's post, but also commenting on other people's comments, right? Mm-hmm. Bring other people into the conversation as well, because it's a community, right? And I've gotten leads from commenting because I'm adding value to the comments and people like what I had to say and they come and start to follow me. So it's about showing up and showing your expertise and thought leadership in the comment section and building relationships.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not just thank you, that was a great insight, but thank you, that was a great insight, and X, Y, and Z, or in my experience, X, Y, and Z.
You're always drawing from your experience. And this is something that I was going to write a post about. I think I'll do that next week, is you can't be a thought leader if you don't have any thoughts. It sounds very simple, but you would be surprised, because what I've noticed actually is a lot of people just repeat what other people have already said, right? They don't have any original thoughts, right? They're just like, oh, I'm just summarizing what this person said, or I'm summarizing what this other person said. So they say that. And I'm like, okay, but what do you think? I want to know what you think about something, right? Yeah. So it's really important to have your own individual identity, know who you are, know what you stand for, and share your opinion, share your belief, share your thoughts. A lot of people are hesitant. They want to play it safe all the time. They don't want to showcase like what they think, because, oh, what if people interpret it differently? But that's the thing, is you want to build your own community of followers, right? Mm-hmm. So they want to know what you think and they want to trust you, and the only way to do that is to showcase what you actually know, and not just repeating talking points from a guru that you saw on LinkedIn. or other platforms.
Yeah. And maybe preface it with a contrary opinion, or here's a food for thought, and provide the alternative view. And the thing is, you are actually helping that creator's engagement if you do start a debate. And so obviously be professional and don't be saying like inappropriate things, but at the same time, we do want your contrary view so we can rethink everybody else on the platform.
Absolutely. And yeah, it's like you're adding to the conversation, you're adding nuance to the conversation, you're adding different multiple perspectives to the conversation, something that other people might not have thought of, even the creator might not have thought of. So it actually, some people appreciated when I added like a contradictory view or a different view. They're like, oh, I never thought of it like that. Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow, Rose, the time has flown by. I always appreciate our conversations. Tell us where people can find you and if you want them to go to a certain page or resource.
Really simple. You go to Rose Alkamisi on LinkedIn. Right now, I'm just focusing on LinkedIn, and I just started my YouTube channel not too long ago as well. So you can find the link for that on my LinkedIn. But Rose Alkamisi, AlKamisi is my last name. And also at your brand AlKamist, right? It's also on LinkedIn. So thank you so much for having me. Really enjoyed the conversation.
Thank you for being here, and we will put all your links in the show notes. Thank you, Rose. Have a great day.
You too. Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye.
There you have it, my friends. We covered so much ground, from the essence of personal branding, the power of LinkedIn, the impact of a strong brand during job transitions, building and leveraging your brand, creating value on LinkedIn, and the first steps on starting personal branding on LinkedIn. I hope you feel inspired and ready to take action. Start with small steps with your thought leadership journey, and then go from there. Thank you for listening. Bye for now. There you have it, my friends. As you know, I'm on a mission to close the pay gap. Every podcast episode is designed to give you the tools, techniques, and inspiration so you can bravely advocate for yourself. Thank you for listening, and bye for now.